Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Inspired by Twice Baked Jake's recent video on cards that he would never sell, I thought to make a similar type of video and showcase some of my collection pieces and explain reasons why I would never want to sell these cards and sort of the backstory about it. So this gives me another reason to show some of my collection, which is always enjoyable for myself. I also like to document my collection, so I thought this is a great video idea. So thank you, Jake. So this first group of cards is largely based off of my childhood collection. Of course, they're not the same card. As you guys can see, most of these are PSA 9s or higher. But, these cards are sentimental. I do literally remember having a lot of these cards as a kid, trading it on the playground, and definitely really enjoying them as a kid, playing with it, showing off to my friends. And each of these cards, I think this card was literally an elementary school card that I had. I remember I was super captivated by the holo pattern. If you guys can sort of see, I think these EX cards do an exceptional job, especially those EX cards, at really making the holo pop, and plus the silver border is a bonus. I think Pokemon with a different type, so Rayquaza being Thunder type, is such a unique concept. I really wish they brought that back. But yeah, the first group of cards, especially the EX cards, I remember was, I was obsessed with them as a kid. I thought they were the highest rarity. I actually never owned a Gold Star as a kid. Now that I'm an adult, I do realize that Gold Stars are one of the rarest chases in the EX era. So naturally, I got one of my favorite Pokemon. This is the legendary that I kind of grew up with, along with Kyogre. So I got this in a PSA 9. Definitely one of my prized possessions within my collection. So this would definitely be a card that I won't ever sell. In fact, I'm trying to get the full Gold Star set in a PSA 9. And yeah, this kind of concludes the EX generation. This next stack of cards, similar to the EX era, came after that period. So this is during 2007 to 2009, I believe. I think it's appropriate to begin this with the starters from the Diamond and Pearl era. Also, another super nostalgic set. This was sort of the tail end of my collecting journey, but nonetheless, I feel like at this age I was, more used to Pokemon, more accustomed to the releases, and I actually kind of knew what was going on, I think. While as the EX cards, I feel like was a little bit beyond my generation. Like I was maybe too young. I was only like 5 or 6 when some of those cards came out. So I think definitely the Level.X era I do remember quite a bit more fondly. I actually had this promo card as a kid. I really did enjoy these tins. However, I think a lot of them are damaged, so it was nice to find the PSA 9 of this copy. Such an iconic Torterra card. Similarly, I also had fond memories of Empoleon. Also, I watched the anime while growing up, and definitely during that era, these two Pokemon were featured a lot. So I have both the Empoleon Level.X cards. One is from the Diamond and Pearl base set, and this one is from the tin as well. And this next card is quite unique. This Lucario card. Lucario growing up was also one of my favorite Pokemon cards. Not only was I a huge fan of Lucario in the TCG, but also in Super Smash Brothers. I would always play Lucario. I would main this Pokemon in the game. So honestly, this card is really cool in so many different ways, and it's just such an iconic Diamond and Pearl Pokemon as well. Similarly, since I love Dialga and Palkia, I got more Dialga and Palkia Level.X cards. Can never get enough of these. This is also, I believe, a tin promo, which is nice to see since they are relatively hard to grade this generation, given how much holofoil they have, and a lot of these tins are clamped in a way that damages the Pokemon cards, so having it in a high grade is quite difficult. So yeah, that pretty much concludes my, nostalgic collection, mainly comprised of EX and Level.X cards. So like many collectors, I got back in the hobby during the Logan Paul or the 2020 hype when COVID basically shut everything down. So naturally, this was a huge chase card during that time period. Pokemon was in a boom, and Hidden Fates was very hard to find on shelves. But I did manage to buy one of these ETBs, and I opened it with my girlfriend, and lo and behold, we pulled the Hidden Fates Shining Charizard in our first ETB. And this was pretty much the biggest pull I ever had, and it was my first Hidden Fates opening. So this was definitely a very nostalgic moment for me. Definitely was one of the highlights of the hobby for me. Opening it up with my partner, but also it came back at PSA 10, which is really nice to see. Nothing too much to add to this card, just gorgeous card. Similarly, during that time period, these Pokemon Happy Meals were heavily scalped, so we didn't manage to find too many Pokemon packs to open from McDonald's, so more specifically from the Happy Meals, but we did manage to pull a Pikachu Holo from the 25th anniversary McDonald's collection, so this was in 2021. Graded it, came back a PSA 10. Super happy with this. Again, it was a shared experience with my partner and definitely a keepsake for my collection. And so, maybe stupidly, maybe irrationally, I did open some packs as well. So around that period, 2021, 2022, I opened up some Heart Gold, Soul Silver and managed to pull a legend card, which is really nice. So if you don't know, these are supposed to be paired with another card. So I believe this is the bottom of the legend card, and there should be a top half of this legend card. So they actually piece together for a complete picture. But this was a nice vintage pull. This is probably the only time I ever opened vintage packs. Definitely this is another card that I pulled by myself, so I would want to keep this card in my collection. And of course, during that Logan Paul hype period in 2020, 2021, XY Evolutions were open a lot. I did open quite a few packs of this, pretty irrationally. Did manage to pull both these Charizard cards. Of course, I was lucky with it, but they both graded PSA 9, which is pretty nice given that these cards are quite hard to grade. A lot of them have a print line. I think there's a print line right here, but it's kind of hard for you guys to see. So this next group of cards are basically cards that I pulled myself or with my partner. Definitely has sentimental value. So after I had some exposure to the hobby, I soon became really intrigued with Japanese promos, exclusives, as well as some entry-level trophy cards. Of course, my pockets aren't that deep, so obtaining this card was a huge goal for me, no matter what grade condition. So I did manage to get a damaged copy of a University Magikarp. If you guys don't know, this is one of the rarest Pokemon cards in history. There's reportedly 1,000 that should have been released. However, if you look at the population report and just in general, there's a lot less than 1,000 copies of this card. Many have been also regraded. And as you guys can see, aside from this indent here, this card's actually quite clean. There's not really any major flaws, even with the surface. It's pretty much just this indent that holds it back. So, I do think if I grade it with another company, maybe it can get a 3 or 4 at least. But I love the history of this card. It was a 2-day competition. You had to be one of the finalists that received this card. And honestly, I like having a piece of Pokemon history with me. So this is definitely a iconic card that I would want to hold on and has such a cool story. And of course, victory medals. I think these are some of the lowest talked about Pikachu promos. I think just because they're Japanese and sort of in the middle era, they get kind of lost, especially in today's modern Pikachu scene, given all the popularity of the ponchos and Mario Pikachu. I definitely think this is a great set. You have the bronze, silver, and gold. It looks really nice when you see all three together. And a fun fact, I actually bought this card from Twice Baked Jake. Shout out to you, Twice Baked Jake, if you're watching this. A very cool entry level kind of trophy promo card. You get to have these kind of feel. It literally says for the winner of the Pokemon card game, but you don't really break the bank. However, these have gone up quite a lot in recent years, but still affordable if you compare it to the hundreds of thousands of dollars that a higher end trophy card will sit you back. And these are some of the cards that I found really cool in my collection. For example, this Van Gogh Pikachu had a pretty limited release, very nice art. Everything about it is very collectible, I think. It's from an iconic art piece. It's had a limited release, and honestly, it just looks really good on display. I would really like to grade this one. I think it has a good shot of getting a 10. But more interestingly, the story behind how I obtained this card is I was lucky that I checked the Pokemon Center during the Van Gogh release. So all you had to do was buy something on the Pokemon Center and they would give you this card for free. So I ended up buying a Crown Zenith tin that came with this promo. And you know, I opened it up and lo and behold, I got a Mewtwo V-Star. So I got all 3 of these for basically, I think it was like 30-40 bucks. Definitely a really good purchase, but I like having these in my collection, not only because of the you know, how cool this card is and how collectible it is, but also just the story that I kind of went through to actually obtain this card. I mean, yeah, if you just look at this art, you have literally Charizard battling Mewtwo, literally action packed. So this next group of cards is actually cards that I got as presents from my partner. Super appreciated. So obviously these ones have heavy sentimental value. These 2 EX cards she got me recently for my EX collection. I'm trying to collect all the EX cards as well as the Level.X cards in a PSA 9. So these went great with my collection. And she also knows I love Charizard. She got me a lot of these Charizard chase cards, which I love a lot. Super generous of her. Like, look at these 151 cards. She got it before all the prices went up too, so that's a huge bonus. My partner also got me the Mew UPC, you guys can see from these promos, and also got me the GameStop Arceus Ultra Premium collection, and also a Shining Fates tin. So every time, you know, I see these cards, I'm reminded by a great experience, and another reason why these cards will definitely stay with me forever in my collection. And similarly, my parents have also given me Pokemon cards in the past. So I pulled this card. I think this is the best card that I pulled from the stuff that they gave me. So this is another example of a card that I would never sell because it does have a lot of value to me. Even though this may not be the most valuable card, it was a gift from my parents and I greatly appreciate that. As some of you guys may know, I did go to Japan with my partner this last summer. And we did pick these up for less than $20. So honestly, about less than $1 per holo. And let me show you what I picked up. So we got all of these WOTC era Japanese holos. Some of them are a little bit damaged, like these higher end cards, but nonetheless, for, you know, less than $1 per card, I think it was a great deal. This is pretty much like having a souvenir or some keepsake from Japan, the birthplace of Pokemon. So this would be another pile of cards that I would likely never sell, and it would just be part of my collection for the foreseeable future. So yeah, this pretty much breaks it down, all the cards that I would never sell in my collection, and I hope this was a somewhat interesting of a video to see quite a, I guess, a wide spread of different Pokemon cards, and maybe give you guys a look into my own collection. You know, if you guys did enjoy this, please let me know. Yeah, so also please let me know what are cards that you won't ever sell. I'm really interested to hear that. And yeah, hope you guys at least enjoy this, and if you guys did like this, please leave a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Also feel free to check out my affiliate links in the description below. They lead to websites that I use and trust. And yeah, really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And I'll see you guys on another video. Peace out.